Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts today with Nasdaq. Pre-market is to the downside. Did a little bit of a consolidation after rejection at the 0.66 fib of this retracement to the impulse here. If you were to use the impulse from here to here, that was basically a 886 retracement from this impulse where they started to reject from, and then consolidated going into the open today. London pushed it up only to reject and come down lower, starting to come down into the deep retracement zones of this impulse to the upside from yesterday, possibly testing the previous lows of the last week. If you're in the shorts, you are getting paid right now. And why is it so violent right now? Well, you have a bunch of news releases coming into the situation right now. You had a bunch of CPI data for the Canadian currency, and a bunch of some US core retail sales and stuff. So a lot of news catalysts today and tomorrow, so tread lightly, as I will do the same. I just got off from work and put my kids to bed, so I'm just settling into the charts alongside you, perhaps, and we'll see how, if any, low-hanging fruit can present themselves. So it looks like we have some news releases in 10 minutes for some industrial production, capacity utilization rate, whatever that means, and then you have FOMC member speaking at 10:20 and some more things going on at 11 on the hour of power that I normally trade. So a lot of uncertainty and catalysts and whipsawing motion perhaps coming into this. So it looks like the violence of the move to the upside was to stop out majority of the shorts in order to continue to the downside. This is a retracement model in the framework that I put within the Discord channel here, which is this here. A retracement. What is a retracement? When price pulls inside a recently traded range, it goes back and clears the void and then goes back in that direction. So that's simply what it did. It looks like from here, it just went and filled the void, and now continuing to the downside while creating another void and filling this one. Okay, so let's go into the charts, try to find some confluence zones. Looks like you have some gaps up in here now. Got some gaps in this region, and coming back to that 786 perhaps. There is a gap down here to coincide with that on the 5-minute. There's another one down here that we could come back to at 102. There's another gap. This is just a low, actually. This is where we previously hit from before, a gap recovery. If we go all the way back over here, this is basically some recovery of some liquidity back here, this small little gap. So can we go deeper into this zone? Anything is possible. There is a gap here. This would be the deep retrace for these levels here. This is a 0.5 equilibrium level for this entire impulse to the upside, creating the nukes, which we also saw going into the live last week. I need to make some recap videos so more exposure can be had to this channel, because we're just killing it in terms of these signals that our indicator provides. What is this indicator, you say? Well, link is in the description for more. MomentumMaster.info. Scroll down to features. You can toggle all of the components together, see what it looks like in a schematic of what to look for, and kind of the components that come into prominence. You can read about them individually, like the trend cloud, the baselines, the stochastic array, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and set up for today. Okay. Just to be clear, the news is in 8 minutes. Okay, and let's go into the ATAS charts. Link for this is also in the description for a 14-day free trial. You can see the footprints. Currently we are negative 4K in sell side imbalance here, as that drop to the downside started to create some imbalance here. If we zoom out, we are currently beneath the value area low at 234, point of control at 280, which was previously holding from that consolidation, and value area high 298, dropped beneath that value area low, bringing the VWAP down below to 242. At some point you could come back to it, and from that drop below we were negative 932 for the session in imbalance. So quickly rose up to 2K. Now we're at 4K imbalance here in sell side contracts here. So if we zoom into these candles, we can see where these possibilities lie for contracts. That was 605 sell side that peeled off there just now at that above point. 605 contracts. That is a mighty large amount of sells to enter at 160 there. Are those shorts expecting lower, or are those people getting liquidated in their accounts? That was a huge amount of sells right there at 160. They could surge up into those just for a little relief bounce into those contracts. That is a huge amount of sells to enter there. 605 at 160. We are getting some money bag bullish divergence here on the 30-second at the 706 level. We could get a little bit of a bounce here, so let's take it. Let's see if they go up into that. Let's wet our whistle a little bit. Trade number one in effect. We're having a wider stop to possibly eyeball some stuff. Come back above the 605 contracts would be something to see. Bounce off that 706 perhaps. We'd have to get back above this trend dot, which we are doing, and then those 605 contracts do insinuate that somebody is late to the party on the short end of the stick. So if they come back above this 160 region, they could give this sell side pool of 605 contracts a little bit of run for their money. 2 for the show, 3 to get ready, and 4 to go to my profit in that little dead cat bounce idea. We're not here for a long, but 303 minutes and 35 seconds for this 4-minute candle to close. We're above the baselines. 6 time frames oversold here. You had a mighty great liquidation event, so getting a little bit of a relief bounce could be something to look out for if we come back into this 605 contracts. Have to keep an eyeball on how many contracts are getting pinged in here. So far, not so many buys are interested, which is good for the idea of a retracement. Pinging in, you had 373 sell side imbalance. When I see that sell side imbalance, it insinuates the target was hit and or induced at the end of the move, causing a trap to be sprung. So we will see. Does it get a little bit of a bounce here? 2 minutes for the news release of industrial production whatever that means. 1 minute 24 seconds. Shout out to everyone here. If we take this toss off here really quick, and we'll reload the 8 bar here. Just to make sure we are on MNQ. Another 73 in sell side there. .44 seconds. Looks like it's already begun. For the news, let's see. Still pending. Getting indecision on the 4-minute. It's taking a while to post that. Breaking the trend dots here. No real change, so there is no catalyst that could do anything. They're looking to do something they're going to do anyway. Double bottom event, perhaps. Let's go see what the contracts dragged in here. at the tippy top of this candle here, there was 605 sell side that entered. The fact that it entered as it was going up tells me that it was a short pool. So if it can get above 160 and give that short pool a little bit of run for their money, that's why we are looking for a slight dead cat bounce here. Double bottom idea needs to come back above this trend dot on the 1 minute, getting indecision on the 4 minute here, and currently we are coming back to that 160 level. There we go. Gonna post this idea. Looking decent right now. Going to the trade alerts. Needs to give the that pool of shorts a little bit of a scare here, but it doesn't look like it's happening. $12 minutes for the open. Went down to a fair value gap at 46. Took out 180 sell side here. This was a dollar cost averaged long, most likely.
Fatality.
Could keep going, of course. 308 in sell side generated here. 4K for the session. This is a sell side pool that they could come retrace into. This could be the Undertaker play. Getting some divergence here. Divergence. Also on the 1 minute. Hit that fair value gap at 146. Knocked out that pool. $10 minutes to the open. They had a mighty run to the downside. And those Johnny-come-lately 605 contracts that are definitely shorts insinuate to me that whoever this is up here is going to get kind of shaken out. But they have to give them a little bit of hope first to hold their position. Generating more sell side too, but we'll see. We will see. $100 more sell side induced here, so they're trying to give So you can see here on the 1 minute also making lower low, higher low on the oscillator here. So getting some bullish divergence perhaps here. Starting to turn up here on the Williams. Needs to make it above this trend dot. 308 sell side taken here. Let's go see what that was. Mainly just sells here, taken out, hitting that fair value gap a second time. Eight minutes till the open. 5K imbalance to the sell side pools. $786 at 136. Let me make sure my idea at 135.50. Five minutes till the open. Still making lower low, higher low on the oscillator. Bullish divergence just needs to play itself out. A lot of sell side generated, 383, 146. A lot of sells into the support is what you want to see for liquidations of longs and or inducements of shorts, which could be the trap they need to run it back up after they reach their objective. Is their objective here, or are they going to the 786 at 135? Three minutes. Just a bunch of sell. The last 6 minutes have just been all sell side inducement and or stops hit for the dollar cost average longs, expecting a bounce. Getting bullish divergence here on the 32nd. Does it play out? 1 minute as well. I entered too prematurely on that 600 contract that is up here of sell side. Most likely gonna hit it and then run bump and run on my stop because I entered it prematurely up here. 2 minutes and some change. And 33 seconds. Let's go see what's going in. 10:20 is this Bowman speaking happening right now. And we are open, hitting the 786 region of the retracement here. A lot of volume stepping up to the plate. Cleared that pivot level, came back to the settlement line from the 32 bar. A lot of sells in that region. Looks to be not abating at all. More sells hit and or induced. 291 each, starting to peel out perhaps if it can hold this 786 level. Hey, what's up to everyone in the chat?
getting a cross up, but it's getting a rejection off that 786 of the retracement. Let's go see what's going on again. What type of contracts are they aiming at here? Looks like that hit me out. Coming to the 886. $7,000 in sell side contracts up in this region. $403 sell side taken. 510 in that last candle there. $886 deep retrace bounce perhaps. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll go over on the 4-minute here. This whole impulse to the upside, there's a fair value gap down below, but we're currently at that 886 of that retrace zone. Cloud is mighty thick on the 30-second here. Needs to make some conviction above it, which it seems to be doing. Next up is the 1-minute. Does the bullish divergence start to play out at all? Let's go see the contracts here, shall we? Okay, 514 buy side taken as they stop out some of the shorts. Likely the first bounce creates the double bottom. Starting to get the money stacks on the 30-second and the 1-minute here. Baseline crossing up on the 1-minute, reclaiming the trend dot. Can we hold it? Getting a purple vector, which is the stopping volume here on the 4-minute. Okay. $615 in buy side currently induced here. $345 contracts entered. Once they stop out some of the shorts, they could go back and double bottom it. Could even go freaking sweep this area. Not like in the reversal here. Oh, no. Okay, so we got 20 minutes till the hourly close is here. We're playing some hoopla with the minis players right now. 224 basically took back some 558 buy side here, induced some pool of 345 buy side, and then they took it for a ride, said no, not yet, sir, and took them to the sell side and took it a little bit lower on their liquidity to test any other liquidation events in unfolding. It's just rejecting off the cloud on the 1 minute, never got above. Possibly rejecting the 886, hitting it for the third time now. Trend dots on the 30-second still holding ever so slight. volume in this 4-minute is less so than before. $233 in sell side here in this contract as well. Creating some dead weight to come down to the whole number. Hit that fair value gap at 102. Again, another stopping volume candle on the 4-minute. Saying watch out for longs on the quantum time frame here as the baselines are crossing down against you, getting that suppression of the price here. $7,000 sell side taken today so far. $212 in buys entering here at the 108 region. Straight up ripping it lower. Getting some volume stepping up to the plate here in a red vector way. $291 buy side entering here. Previously 778 sell stops hit. This range is this previous low over here, a pivot low zone for this 32 bar. This is a quite mighty drop, massive drop here. 8,000 in sell side taken. Not sure why this is appearing there. Still technically getting that next fair value gap at 62. This was the previous low that we were at before. Let's go ahead and mark off our charts here. We're going to mark off, what's it called, the hour change here at 11. Look at everything fresh here on the 2-minute. So we broke this impulse. This impulse has been negated. We have now come beneath this impulse and come down to the previous low set in at 62, which was a fair value gap region. If we go into the open here, there was a massive sell-off, didn't even reach the trend dots on the 2-minute. Do we get some sort of bounce up into the region? There is a fair value gap that was created here on the 2-minute here. If they bounce up to 101 and then continue further down, there is further down to go. The equilibrium on this larger time frame impulse is down here at 27. You have a fair value gap up here at 194, which we created on the drop down. Same with the 226 region. Just constantly getting rejected off the trend dots on all accounts. 1 minute as well. We meandered around getting above it here at 8 minutes in. Then saw a sharp rejection. Just coming straight lower. Coming back to that 6.2 region, previous low. $936 sell side hit there.
Fatality.
At the previous low region. Do they keep going? Not abating at all. 235. This could be where we get some sort of bounce because we're getting 832 and objective was kind of hit here. I'm going through some shiznit right now. Caught on the wrong side of the trade right now. So we're starting to get this liquidation event complete here with the 832 contracts taken. And now it's starting to get a little bit of a bounce here. I did some pretty degen stuff. If I do say so myself, that was not good at all. Good practice. 832 taken here. If I get back to break even, I'm going to basically get me back. Just get me back. Let's go back to the charts. All right, so the 30-second basically crossing up here on the baselines, coming up above the trend dots. Can it hold the trend dot and continue into the cloud and pierce this? There's a fair value gap at 101. Can we come back to test the whole number at 100 and reclaim that 100 region, at least to test it for a fair value gap going into the hour? The hourly will close with a wick perhaps, and then possibly do a double, a wick level here. We're here for it either way. 1 minute baseline is crossing up here. This 62 level was a previous low from the range. And do we come back above this? We're getting money stacks on the oscillator here, start insinuating some money coming back into the trade on the buy side of things. The footprint charts ascertain that as well. Starting to see 435 in the last 2 minutes, 222 in this as well, but they use these dollar cost averages. If there is too many, they use them for liquidity to their demise. So we have to tread lightly here and think that it could drop at any moment if there's too many buy side to take it lower. Back above the trend dot on the 30-second. Needs to have some conviction up above. Can it break this for 1 minute for the first time in a while? starting to abate here on the stack money flow order thing. Footprint seeing some conviction coming in. Well, since I nearly got in the pickle, hourly has closed now. Okay, so the hour has closed. Do we make a double bottom here and then rip up, or do we just rip up from this point? We are reclaiming the trend dot on the 1 minute, created an indecision on the 4 minute. We have not broken the super trend on the 30-second just yet. I'd like to see a rip up here, continue. $303 contracts, inducing some sell side to peel off some of that 8,000 imbalance here. 40 ticks up. So come back to that 101 to hit that fair value gap. If it's going to continue down, go back into that just slightly. Looks like it's not getting mustering the strength. Let's go back to our oscillators. It gives a higher fidelity image of what's happening. Okay, so coming back to that fair value gap at 101.75, cloud on the 1 minute as well, bearish super trend at 102. If it can, looks like it's rejecting off of that, perhaps. Looks like it's starting to have a little market objective completion and possible bounce reversal idea. Coming to that 101 fair value gap is where it will decide what it wants to do from there. Most likely it will pull back at a time if it reaches a certain point, the cloud being one of them. So far can't get above that trend dot fatigue zone of the 30-second and the adaptive and the everything on the 1 minute as well. Cloud starting to shift here on the 30-second, ever so slight. Going into the hourly play, do we start to see a little bit of a bounce here after the objective was requited? We did have a money bag on the 30-second, reclaiming that adaptive perhaps. Four minutes starting to cross up here. Doom, doom, bing, boom, boom, boom. So we're pretty even Steven on the contracts for the last 2 minutes, inducing both sides. Here going into the hour, 137 buy side induced just now. Coming back up to that fair value gap on the 2 minute at least, to the 101 region. Stab that 1 minute cloud if you could be so kind. The 4 minute cloud crossing up here. We're here for it. 48 ticks up. And let's do it. Come on. Push a little bit more. Go to that freaking zone if you ever could. If you could be so kind to just fill that order. Thank you very much, kind sir. Please. Fill that gap. There you go. There we go. Now we are currently up. For the day. That put us through some shit right there. Pardon my French. But now we're up a good amount, and then we can set the stop into profit here. Sell stop 7, and actually it should be 6. All right. So let's let this run. Let's see how it can recover. Boom, boom, baby, boom. $270 ticks from the bottom. That was, whew. All right, so before, let's move this up as we go. Move it just below the super trend. How about that? All right, so at the bottom here, what were we looking at? Actually, I should peel off some. I'm gonna just close it. It's gonna pull back. It always pulls back, so I'm gonna just take my 300 ticks for what it was worth. I'm good. I'm good for the day. 900 bucks. Woo! Scared money don't make no money, but that was not recommended by any account of the imagination. So what on the footprint charts can you be looking at in conjunction with indicators and things like that? Here is in the ATAS right here. This market objective made me go being hit. This 832. I'm going to post this to the group. This was the absolute bottom here. And when you see a bottom, you see a lot of sells, and this particularly the delta being 832 delta sell side taken imbalance as it stabbed the bottom there. That's a lot of long liquidations being hit. So you can ride that divergence up, feasibly speaking. Also on the session delta, we had a basically 8,000 imbalance in the session being taken. So it wasn't just me randomly hitting the buy button for no reason, you know what I mean? There was kind of a method to the madness, if you will. What's up, Nix? Yeah, I said tread lightly, and then I didn't really tread lightly. That was one of the instances of not following your own advice. But pretty cool is, oops, here. You can also zoom out and you can see the delta on this cumulative volume delta. I'm happy to share the indicators I use in ATAS. This is the, here, I'll just go ahead and do that. Link is in the description for a 14-day free trial. It is worth every penny. It's very cheap. You can trade on it with multiple rhythmic accounts too. I haven't gotten to that stage yet, but I use the cumulative volume delta, some VWAP, depth of market, cluster statistics, and color bars. I just color my bars differently. But yeah, so it shows the VWAP. We're probably going back to VWAP at 15,168 perhaps. That was a massive burst up there. And now the delta has been requited up to 5K now. So 3,000 sell side contracts, 3,000 were taken back in terms of buy side. So that means the shorts that were in profit here all turned into these blue bars. They bought back, and then also longs are entering into the fray there, but they hit their market objective. Whoever they were aiming at, that 832 contracts of sell side was all those liquidations of longs. So that was a decent little bounce there. Here we go, continuing. And as the longs sell off, it just, the sellers that can't believe it just cascaded upwards. And so now if we look at this, we can see there's 4K imbalance now, and we're back at the VWAP at 167. As soon as I said it, we were there. So now we're back at the VWAP here on ATAS. And that was a massive play here for the bottom signaling here, this insinuation of the cloud here on the 30-second. I'm going to take a link of that as well. Look at later for my records. There we go. Okay, so we're up for the day. I can call it a day here. That was a little bit more sweaty than I would have liked to have gotten right there. I knew there'd be more volatility inbound. I was very careful in the 3 contract thing, dollar cost averaging into it with a heavy position like that in micros is not your standard move for yours truly. I will go back to putting the eyeballs back on with ATM here. All right, so at some point, ideally, you would get a pullback to the 50 SMA here at 107. If there's a genuine move to the upside, we did get to VWAP now. We're at VWAP, so getting a rejection at VWAP and potentially coming back to a pullback of some kind. But if they just intend to rip it back up without letting anyone in, then by all means, they'll do that. I definitely don't short these type of gaps here between the trend dots. I'll wait for some divergence to appear, but it does look like the cloud is starting to shift on the 1 minute to that long level here. Starting to get this cloud shift on the 1 minute. We talked about that insinuation for that upside on Bitcoin as well with all these cloud shifts. This is what these trend clouds are about. Momentum Master, you can read about it, link in the description for more. Those cloud shifts, that angle and the thinning is what you're focused on here. And so as we were getting above here and seeing this cloud thin, this would have given you that perfect, if you were patient, instead of like myself, this would have been your perfect entry right there. Perfect entry. I'm just going to update that link for people to see more clearly. Edit message, edit the link. All right, so that would have been your decent play for the day right there off the cloud. Bounce of a reversal, shoulder, head, shoulder, holding the trend dots in the cloud. You've basically insinuated upside. The sell-off, the flying away of the money has abated. You're starting to get stack, and then boom, you're gone. You also had this divergence play building. Lower low on price, higher low on this, on the Williams, and double bottling C divergence on the RSI. This is a multiple time frame formula optima here for Nasdaq. Time for a mint after that one. Shout out to everyone here, for all four of you. That was a nice little play we caught there. We went through some stuff and we DCA'd off of this sell side imbalance here and the cloud shift on the oscillator here, and ended up with a good 240 ticks on a bunch of contracts. And yeah, we are good for the day. Right now we're just chilling, starting to create some divergence here on the 30-second. You could come back to the trend dot, get that pull back to the cloud. We talk about it all the time here on the stream. Like, you get this, you break the cloud, you come back, you kiss it, and you continue. All right, so this was a take-in pool here at 10. That 102 was the frugal level we were looking at. We got it and we pulled up even more. The runners did their thing. And then so you could create this bounce off the trend dot. Before it happens, it could be doing something like this, where it bounces off the trend dot, creates like a M formation, extended M, and then comes back to the cloud. So that's why I wouldn't be shorting that just yet. We had that massive run to the downside. The shorts are, the rotation, it might be up to the upside now, and then they would just be pulling back into the sells. The cloud angle here, the trend cloud angle, when it insinuates this shift and the angle's pointing to 2 o'clock here, you want to wait for this to turn to 3 o'clock or lower before you short, which is why you'd be looking for the opposite end of the spectrum, this kind of curvature, to occur. Not happening just yet, so I would not be interested in shorting this at all. Even though you're getting money flying away as you drift into this, this is most likely sell side of the longs, peeling off at VWAP like a smart trader would. So they're up at the VWAP here, and then they're getting all this sell side. So they're inducing
some shorts to use as their liquidity, and or getting the longs to taper their positions, which allows them to drift higher on the shorts that think that it's going to reverse. So they could use that as fuel, perhaps. And then that's when you get that extended M divergence, and then it starts to come back a little bit. 4-minute cross-up event was also underway. We were looking at that 4-minute cross-up after the indecision doji on the 4-minute here. Got the 6 time frames oversold. Came back to a previous low region over here. It met all standard TA check marks for a potential long and that liquidation pool. Getting money flow bearish divergence in this flame up here. People peeling their contracts. Getting the cross down event on the 1 minute. Shout out to everyone here. We'll give you the play-by-play as it happens. Coming back to the what's it called? Let's go ahead and refresh the 8-bar here. This is the Renko charts, noise reduction system for momentum, capturing momentum here. On the Renko, we're just coming back to super trend, refueling off of super trend every time. So it's still bullish, but you're creating these pools to pull back to at some point. And yeah, that's the 8-bar. 16-bar coming back to this level here within the range finder here. And we came back to the previous settlement line from the day prior and then went below it to the previous low, now starting to peel out. And then if you're going to go lower, this is a perfect ABC continuation idea. If we go back to that 220-50 SMA, which would be the 50 SMA on the 32-bar here, we could basically even continue to a lower pool. It may not be over for the shorts. We do have a lot of news for the next 2 days. And so now you're starting to get a higher high, lower high on the oscillator here. This is a multiple time frame divergence formula called the Optima. You got 5 time frames below the 1 minute averaged. It's a lot under the hood. Looks very simple, but it is not simple to make at all and requires a premium account to see. So it didn't previously, but TradingView got stingy with how they allow people to access the time frames, sadly. Okay, so 30-second trend dot here could still bounce up and create some more bearish divergence. You got a fair value gap at 194 and 226.50 that we marked off prior as the drop was occurring. Let's go have some mints. These are Mintia mints from Japan. Caffeine and very spicy. Keeps your breath fresh. I'll show you. Mintia dry hard. These guys. Dry hard mints. And then I got some micho drink. This is some pomegranate vinegar into your water. Makes your water taste good and it keeps you alkaline. Can't go wrong with that. Cannot go wrong with that. Coming back to bounce off the trend dot, back testable level that coincides with the baselines quite nicely. You'll find these lines happen to coincide with the higher time frames as well. We're coming back to the adaptive on the 4 minute here. Still got bull hammer, bull hammer, bull hammer, bull hammer. These 4 minutes just pounding the upside here. Money flow coming beneath the RSI. This disparity generally starts to wind up and pitch itself to the upside here. I'm just taking a breather after that trade. That was yeah. Can't say what happened there, but should have just waited for the reversal to appear and pulled the trigger there.
And that is a nice pitch off the trend dot. Boom! The more and more I watch my indicator, the more and more I gain trust in what I see over and over and over again. So seeing this trend dot bounce, if you're extremely bullish, the sell-off subsided too, and then boom, we're back to that fair value gap. That was a nice rise up. Let's go see what the contracts are up to above VWAP. $941 reclaimed there in buy-side contracts. Now down to 3,000 sell-side imbalance for the session from previous 8K. So they took back 5,000 sell-side contracts in this rise up here. They just said no after taking back all of those buys from the day prior. That led us to the upside. Sometimes they leave the imbalance till the next day. Now coming back into 444 sell-side contracts here. So they knocked out 444 in that small little drop. Whoa, from 200, no, that's crazy. So either they induced a lot of sells or they just, somebody peeled off a huge number right there and either flipped positions or what. $444 contracts in that small little drop. That's somebody likely peeling off their 502 now in sell side imbalance. So now they could just use that to kind of ride up a little bit further to just test the buy side one more time and then possibly come back to the sell side. It's crazy. Right at that fair value gap at 194. Got some slight bearish divergence on the 30-second, kind of C divergence on the 1 minute. Back at this fair value gap area. Holy moly, that's all I can say. So yeah, coming back to that 164 fair value gap or 120. It did hit the 200 and the 50 SMA and the 32 bar, so we could get this pullback that I was talking about to the cloud. That bearish divergence now starting to appear on the money flow as well. Do you rip through this trend dot or keep bouncing some more? You rip through, then this idea of the curvature of the cloud, of the Clan McCloud starts to curve. You're getting some micro time frame downside momentum with this finger down here. Now just hitting the trend dot to the upside, flipping on the 4 minute. So in the smart money concept idea, you retrace into a fair value gap and then potentially continue lower. So this would be those smart money concepts pullback continuation idea if it is going to retrace into those fair value gaps it created during the pre-market drop, quote unquote. Technically this all happened before the open. Now breaking the dot on the 30-second, saying watch out longs. Money flying away on the 30-second, flying away, flying away, flying away. That shows some intention behind it to reach below this white line to have the money fly away symbol appear. Money, the cross down of the baseline event suppressing the price. This extended M pattern we talked about leading into divergence.
I'm just not really hard pressed to give back anything right now because I took a huge amount just there. So I'm not hard pressed to take anything, but interesting to be right when the extended M presents itself and you get this divergence starting to appear. But it could just be from 193 to 181, but that could all you could be satisfied with for a scalp. Starting to create some indecision on this 4-minute now. The hammers subside and turn into an indecision before a potential reversal. You got 3 minutes for that indecision above the adaptive to hold or not. Shout out to all three who are watching. If somebody could let me know who it is. I got 3 likes from you all, so thank you very much for sticking with me throughout. Starting to have the Williams come beneath the RSI here as it dips beneath the trend dots. You bearishly retest and continue lower. Starting to get that curvature to 3 o'clock that we talked about for the cloud. It just happens again and again and again. So you see this curvature. Came back to the cloud, bounced off it. Happens to be the trend dot on the 1 minute. So all these things kind of intermingle between the time frames as you cascade upwards, but they all become points of interest. It's like seeing smart money concepts visualized into a visual game interface, like. And seeing the baseline suppress the price. All right, 1:31 for this indecision to lock in on the 4-minute. Starting to possibly reject. Let's go see what the contract's dragged in so you can remove any guessing or doubt. So we previously took back about 1,000 in sell side here, possibly induced some shorts, and then might be taking it a little bit lower. 4K sell side, so they induced another 1,000 in sell side coming back to VWAP. And you're creating some that indecision closes in 16 seconds on the 4-minute. And then once this indecision closes in, then we can kind of like think about it in a little bit more seriousness. We're rejecting the trend dot on the 30-second here, possibly coming to the 1-minute as we reject off this fair value gap at 194. We had 1 minute above the fair value gap, and then we're starting to come beneath it after some bearish divergence. There's another one up at 226 that we have our eye on as well. So we're not sold completely on the idea. The thickness of this 1 minute cloud starting to taper ever so slight, but still mighty thick to try to go against that 2 o'clock angle on the 1 minute. Not necessarily sold on the idea just yet. That indecision on the 4-minute is interesting. However, the one thing you are doing is reclaiming the adaptive moving average. What is the adaptive? Well, you can go to momentummaster.info and read about it. It's a sensitive yet stable moving average which factors out noise and displays an accurate place where price will experience resistance and return to for support. And that's what we're doing above that adaptive. So unless we were beneath it, bearishly retesting it, I would still be kind of cautious here. Getting a hidden bullish divergence on the money flow with this money bag here it didn't play out perhaps, but let's go see what the contracts are up to again. And we're back at the 1 minute trend dot / cloud on the 32nd. Let me go see if there's some divergence on the delta. Bouncing off that trend cloud on the 32nd for the second time, perhaps. Still no follow through. Not interested in either side personally, but you are getting that bounce off the trend dot. Momentum shifting on the quantum level to the upside with this green dot here. I would say that this fair value gap is negated now by hitting it the second time. Possibly coming to the 226 region. This 1 minute cloud still showing itself as strong. Let's go see what type of buy side has been induced here. 517 buy side reclaimed here. Getting some follow through as well. 668 now. $685. Those trend dots serve you nicely if you are one of those like long and scalp style, just taking a few ticks here and there. Trend dots will serve you quite well. Starting to hold that adaptive play. Don't play against it. If you're holding it, if you're beneath it, that's one thing, but holding it, showing that SR flippage of the adaptive here. You did it already on the channel average too. And here we go, coming up to the next fair value gap zone. Quite volatile today. It's just seek and destroy both sides today. 294 contracts after the previous close of 626 in that last 2 minutes. Now you're getting 294 in the last 30 seconds or so of buy side as they reclaim another 1,000 contracts of sell side. Went through that fair value gap like it was not much. Could turn into a wick here. This is a fair value gap from the drop down here at an hour prior to the open. We basically reclaimed everything from the pre-market dump, coming back to the range zone above that gap. And yeah, 32nd is now creating this higher region. There's not really any bearish divergence anymore. That was the bearish divergence you got into the cloud. Holding the cloud would have told you there's no reason to short that just yet. And here we go. Higher we go. This fair value gap was reclaimed without a reaction. And you had that hidden bullish. So sometimes I don't see it, but here we had a pivot swing high and swing low on the oscillator, so that created a hidden bullish. We were resetting the oscillators while not going lower, so this was your clue that the money flow was coming beneath the previous money flow, and you had this hidden bullish boom to the upside on the 1 minute. Okay, so 480 buy side at the value area low here. That could be some stopped out shorts right there, 195 contracts.
Fatality.
And then they induce some sells, some peeling off of some contracts of longs and or shorts to become fuel. 142 and 412 for this drop down now in sell side. 167, 498 for the 2 minutes. And this is creating a slight bearish divergence on the 1 minute here, so we could get that pullback, a like sharper one this time if they scared out the shorts. When it's extremely bullish, you'll expect more extended M's. What do I mean by that? Let me go to my message to my dad here like this. You get a bunch of M's and W's, so the extended M's are in bullish scenarios and extended W's in bearish scenarios, because they don't want the longs to be right, they don't want the shorts to be right, so they squeeze them and then drop it. So that is how it works. If you're going to get that bearish divergence play, you'd be getting these extended M's, not allowing them to get any pullback or breathing room for the shorts. They just squeeze them up, similar to what they just did back here to the longs. And it's just crazy that this all happens in the span of an hour. It is literally insane. You got to be able to pivot your mind and shift it on a dime. It's extremely a test of character for sure, and focus, being super focused. You could be perfect in every way and still be like counter trading your own indicators if you're not focused enough to see everything. Like I missed this hidden bullish right here. It displays it after you start to see that pivot, because it's dealing with pivot points, and pivots require an angle. So it requires an angle to say it was here, but it was technically there beforehand, and that's why we were drawing lines on the bullish divergence as the reversal was happening. So you're getting the cross down event on the 30-second and the 1 minute here, and let's go see what the contracts dragged in real quick. We are about reaching that. We're coming back to the value area low for the session. Another 1,000 contracts, 710 sell side and 311 sell side entered here. So a lot of longs peeling off and or shorts entering. A fair amount actually. $315 more. And now the crystal shows up, the bearish divergence crystal. All right, excellent condition. Bounce off the trend dot, perhaps. No, rejection off that baseline. So we like confluence. So this kind of baseline confluence here, this cross down event on both time frames, and then that bearish divergence is where you'd be looking to think of that idea to unfold. Still got that 2 o'clock angle on the 1 minute cloud. The 30-second got that boost too, back to 2 o'clock. They're not going to make it easy The super trend has been holding on the 30-second since basically back here, just as the hour turned. This super trend has been holding, and now we're back at that 30-second super trend. Until you can flip that, you're still bullish, and we're back at that 30-second super trend yet again. Money flying away, abating here, starting to reappear. Okay, so basically another 1,300 contracts entered in sell side in this drop here, which was not that much. So a lot of longs peeled off and or shorts. So if they have another objective, they could just keep going. There's another cloud kiss bounce slash trend dot bounce. Does it reach pull back a little bit more into the next super trend level, or is this 30-second going to continue? You know what? I'll just try a little bit of a scalp on the trend dots. Let me make sure it's just a scalp. There we go. Oops, I didn't mean to do a 100 tick one, but whatever. All right. Immediately into 30 ticks profit. All right, I'm just gonna take it for what it's worth, 40 ticks. Boom. Almost up $1,000 for the day across each account. That little bounce off the trend dot. Let's go see what it was that I was looking at. I'm gonna just go ahead and throw that in the Discord really quick for a little quick. That was less than a minute. And that's why we were in and out like clockwork, because all right, so do we get this continuation again, or is that a stop out of some of the buys? That type of instant 1 minute 30 ticks, I just can't, you know, in good faith hold that. I'm just gonna take it, just run. Take the ticks and run. Take the money and run. That was 460 buy side that were induced there, and then they ripped it back. Do they break the trend dot on this 1 minute? Looks like they might do it this time. Is the pullback down to this region coming? Let's try it. Ooh, I just did that right into 10 positive ticks. Does it continue? Let's go see. Can the short play out here? Can he break it? Let's go see the short. Come on, baby. Here for it. You broke the trend dot on the 1 minute. Let's go. Let's see. Break it. You induced something here. Don't go back above. Just break it. There you go. Break that bearish, that bullish super trend. Come on. You already broke the cloud. There you go. So it should have already peeled off. It did peel off 2 contracts. And then now they have the runner in profit. So if it stops out the runner, if it goes back up to 10 ticks, it'll stop out my runner. We're just trying to take some aggressive plays here, so it immediately moved my stop to 30 ticks. It's trailing it. That stopped me out there on that bounce. Let me make sure it's flat on the account. Boom, we're up 1,000 now on the day across multiple accounts. Just make sure everything's flat here on my copy trader, flatten all. These are all master accounts, they're not sims, so it is real money as long as you can take it to payout. All right, so let's go see what is going on. We went beneath that super trend and came right back up, but we just take what is given when we actually play with the stop loss and ATM strategy, which I recommend everyone do, or you end up with the sweating bullets effect that we had in the beginning. And starting to bounce off that channel average slash adaptive. The adaptive comes into play again on the 1 minute. So we got that 1 minute bounce fake out. So let's go see what it was. So 434 in sell side taken in that drop there in that 2 minutes, and then now they're starting to pull back into the sell side. They're just playing a choppy zone, an idiot box, if you will, and we just took both sides of it. My dad's calling me here. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I just messaged him. I'll call him back in 10 when I get off the stream. Okay, so we're entering the end of this hour in the... Let's mark off that end point here. That's when I'll bid you adieu. So at some point you will have a pullback, just like yesterday you had a pullback. It just kind of does what it does every time. So yesterday you had this choppiness, and then it pulled back down to here. Do you start to make that indecision? You're doing that on the 4 minute now. So having these two 4 minute indecisions, you could start to realize some sort of pullback at some point. We're getting beneath the trend dots here on the 30-second. This light cloud is pulling back into the trend dots as well, in case you were not objectively seeing things properly. That's what the light and the dark clouds are for. And then you're starting to come beneath the trend dots again. And now your cloud is starting to curve to that 3 o'clock position for that short idea. We already took 2 40 tick trades, so technically we were taking like, 80 ticks there on those little 2 scalps. So I'm just chilling like a villain. I'm not feeling any FOMO about this. But if you were so inclined, the finger down is telling you quantum time frames aligned to the downside momentum here. Rejection of that 30-second cloud, trend dot on the 1 minute. Are you going to get this pullback? Cloud is starting to express some fatigue here on the 1 minute. Do you get that pullback going into the hourly close? If you do, what should you expect? Well, you come back down to this cloud on the 4 minute, which is starting to shift to the upside, and then you could basically bounce out from there. How do you bounce? How far do you bounce? I have no idea. But what you do is you pull a fib from there, see if there's an equilibrium level or some sort of fair value gap that coincides with your golden pocket region or something like that, and then try to take it from there. And we're breaking that super trend that was previously holding on that 30-second. Now shifting to the bearish super trend, now appearing above the price here. Coming back to that pullback to that cloud zone on the 1 minute, which is starting to curve. And it's just slow progress and levels within levels of whatever. And you have this 30-second cloud now starting to thin as the buy side fades. This is a volume weighted cloud. So if you go to the trend cloud and read about it, it expands and thins according to the amount of volume present in the asset. So the volume is tapering to the sell side, which is why it thins. and you start to see that thinning nature. Long, you got that finger in advance and that do not enter long. Everything's starting to insinuate that downside potential. Basically pulling back from 225 to 200. Now getting the bearish trend dots appear on the 30-second as we pierce possibly the 1 minute cloud here. Shout out to everyone here, all 4 of you. Thank you for stopping on in. And we are curving that cloud on the 1 minute, just like we caught the bottom on the way up. Here you're starting to see this curvature, and as you see, it just repeats, and you could flip this over and it's the same thing we saw on the way up, right? It's the same. And you just see this over and over and over and over, and it makes you feel less uneasy about sniping the bottom or top, let's say. It's a little monitor, a health monitor of momentum, hence the name, Momentum Master. Starting to see the shift to the downside here on the 30-second as the cloud begins to taper, rejecting that cloud perhaps on the 1 minute. I don't even care if I missed the majority of the move. I had a decent day. I just don't want to give anything back at this point. I just want a low-hanging fruit, and that's it. I'll take a smooth 40 ticks in both directions. I took this 40, and then I took this 40. 40, 40, I'm good. You know, that's... What more can you ask for? So you're bouncing off the 1 minute cloud here, bearishly retesting the cloud perhaps on the 30-second / trend dot on the 1 minute. Let's go see what the contracts dragged in. And that's why you take when the taking's takeable, because let's say you shorted here at the trend dot failure and you were right. Now you're potentially wrong. So it's like, that's where I started developing those ATM strategies, because there's so many times I kicked myself in the face by holding and hoping for something else, and then it came back to my entry and then made me negative. So you just need that trailing stop, like it kicked me out here, or it kicked me out here into profit, and it kicked me out here into profit, and then I was neutral. I was right, but I was neutral. I was flat. So you can be right and wrong at the same time and still be profitable. Because what I was seeing off the super trend here was correct, but then it sprung a trap, and then I did the short and I was correct there too. So you can be correct and wrong and then pivot, and then you got to adjust your mind to be able to pivot. And that's the thing that takes a lot of polishing, to be able to let go of an idea and pivot to the other side like that, and know why you're doing it, like seeing this kind of trap be sprung and the volatility there expressing that it's going to possibly break. But yeah, you're just basically making a channel here. One way to do that, if you're unfamiliar, you go to your lines here, go to regression trend, and with 2 clicks you can make a little trend bar to see it kind of trading within this channel, and it could possibly just reject and go further down. I just see these channels, so I don't need them per se, but you could just use those 2 clicks with the regression trend. So you just favorite that, add that to your arsenal. 2 clicks is all you need. And possibly regression trending down. Linear regression trending down. And that would have presented another opportunity coming beneath the trend dot there. Boom. Cloud angle on the 1 minute, insinuating if you can't hold it, you are going lower. 30-second cloud also getting bearish, not holding it. The longer we hold this region and engineer liquidity, though, it could be just a false move engineering more sell side. So you got to keep a eye on the sell side. We got 4,000 sell side imbalance here to go back into. They re-engineered another 1,000. But they previously took it all the way to 8,000 down here. So they might try to double bottom, engineer more sell side without making a lower low, and go down to these regions here I was talking about, create more sell side, and then more than here, generate like 8,000 again, create some bullish divergence, and then boom on the delta. And 1 minute, as we failed the fading cloud here on the 1 minute. I hope you found yourself some good trades for the evening. Be careful in the chop after this hour closes. The algorithm normally cools down in an hour before lunch. Then lunchtime begins and the interns take over and so on and so forth. And another opportunity appears maybe 3 hours from now. Or 2.5. And here we go, fading that cloud on the 1 minute. Money flying away, flying away, flying away. And the baseline cross down event. This suppression with the baseline back here had you at hello with this linear regression trend to the downside. And on that note, the hourly has closed, my friends, so I must bid you adieu. So thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment, of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun stuff.